Hey guys, it's Jesse Reno, and I want to talk about this painting over here and how it was made and what it means to me. And a lot of people who know my work, for some reason, don't seem to know because they haven't seen the video or they haven't looked that far in, but how the paintings are made. And what you see is a lot of elements, and I don't come up with them as a complete idea. I come up with them one idea after the other, and kind of paint a painting over a painting over a painting over a painting, not and get rid of a bunch in between and don't know what it means for a long time in between, or I know what it means and then I don't care, or it doesn't seem important, or I wonder why I even thought that, or I just feel like it's cheesy. So I get rid of all that and work over it and plot ideas that either come spontaneously. Sometimes I put things in that don't make sense on purpose, or they don't make sense to me, but I don't question that. I figure maybe I'll figure it out later. And that's a lot of what painting is about to me, is figuring it out later or being inspired by one thing that didn't connect to another and finding new meaning between these connections, these new connections. So the idea is not thought of and then painted, it's more painted and then documented. The most potent ideas that come up, I write those down and collect them into what ends up being the story of the painting, in case I forget certain things or whatever. Maybe they're not even important when I read the story back to myself, but there are moments that were important during the process and stood out in the imagery and the ideas generated by that imagery, to me, with a potency that seemed really important, that I hope when I see it all configured into that story, I'll make a serious sense of it and find something more meaningful than I would have found if I just came up with an idea. And it seems far more pure and less corrupt. You don't get scared of what you're going to say, or you don't get scared of sharing it, or whatever that is. You just kind of don't know it's coming, so you don't necessarily know what it means, so you don't question the meaning. And there's something to me that's so pure about that. So let's get into talking about what this painting means. And I usually start that in, if I was doing this in a class setting, by reading the story to the students and then kind of pointing out the different things that happened or inspirations or what they mean. Sometimes it's clear, but I like to give them ultimate clarity for people that might not catch it, and just to make sure the point is made, because it seems like one of the most important parts to me, and it's what convinces me a painting is done. And it feels done without a doubt because I've gotten this pure information from it as well, and I'm guiding the process, by not by the information, by looking for it, and then by visual aesthetic, color, contrast, composition. I don't come up with that anywhere near the beginning or middle. It kind of evolves and becomes through the various layers of the painting and the painting on top and the erasing and new ideas being put in. And but somewhere towards the end, I mean, I realize there are paintings in there to look at, and I want people to really look at them. So I dial the colors in the best I can. Yeah, well, not the best, all the way till done. Let's say that. And same with the composition. I round that out with elements and ideas, and sometimes those are to pronounce thoughts I've had throughout the process, or the idea I'm stuck on right then that I seem to think is most important or most potent. So yeah, let's check that out. I'm gonna grab my phone to read it off of there, because I have any painting I've created is on there, and it has its title and its measurements and media, and then the story, if there is one, beneath the title. So you could investigate the website and you could look through all the paintings and see this and kind of know this about them now and wonder what's underneath. In my video section, there's a ton of videos of me doing paintings. Now, obviously not every one, not even that many, but there are quite a few. So you can kind of see that process and practice as well, on my site or on my Instagram. But let me grab that phone. All right, guys, let's start this story over. And I'll start with the title again: Superman, Karate Kid, Pinball Machine, whatever you want. And now the story will begin, and I'll try to remain calm because I got pretty excited telling these stories. It triggers a lot of memories and intensity for me. Can you see the Superman carpet leading into the doorway that looks like a face with its arms up? In front of a crystallized mountain, a Picasso vandalized by the windows of the Louvre, with a rainbow step pyramid that used to be a man standing off in the distance behind. So, Superman right in front, the S on his chest, crystallized mountain vandalized by the Louvre in the background there, which was a Picasso painting that I was referencing when I was painting it. And I was kind of doing my own interpretation of it. You may have seen the piece. Maybe I'll find it and I'll stick it in this video. And then over here, this rainbow step pyramid is this guy that used to be in the distance, and I had no idea what he was doing there for a really long time. And I ended up getting rid of his body, and his head ended up connecting to that. I can't exactly remember how, but you can see already how things kind of come together. Let's see. Picasso vandalized by the windows of the Louvre with a rainbow step pyramid that used to be a man standing off in the distance behind. One day you might know this painting like an old masterpiece. Right now it is an unknown masterpiece. His hair parted like curtains, Superman buried in the sand, levitating pyramids like bending spoons. And, here he is with his hair parted. And that was so funny because it started out um, as just a doorway here, just a doorway. And then I was like, I don't know. And then I put the face in there, and then it looked great. It was like, that's his face leading into this mountain. But there was some point where I put the hair on it, and it was just like, oh my God, like 10 times more. It felt so correct. Like, that's who he was. That's his character. That was pronounced. And a little early maybe to tell this, but there was a point where I was like looking at him, and I had the whatever you want above his head. And I was just like, what do I want? And the first thing that flashed into my head, I saw the Karate Kid doing a super karate kick. And I put that bandana on him, and man, that threw it over the moon for me and felt like such a strong idea. Okay, Superman buried in the sand, levitating pyramids like bending spoons. You will change your destiny if you believe. Sandcastle steps, the stars are within reach, flowers in the air. The boy moved forward, less like a door, more like Superman Karate Kid with an uneasy face, but far less so than the mountain behind, talking about how his face, he's kind of awkward, like, oh, I'm going to do whatever I want. What do I do? Who made me Superman Karate Kid? Meanwhile, the mountain where I thought I wanted to go or enter, I looked at its face and thought, man, that does not look like a place I want to go. That looks like the world I created. And it's not that sour, but that's the part that feels sour when you're doing too much business and not enough painting. So, yeah, let's pick that back up here. The boy moved forward, less like a door, more like Superman Karate Kid with an uneasy face, but far less so than the mountain behind. Remember, better, not perfect. Choosing the right words, the difference between whatever you want and anything you want. And that was huge to me. It said anything you want. I mentioned earlier, I did a couple different word things above them. You only live once, this, that, and the other thing. But I was thinking, like, there's such a huge difference between anything you want feels like a thing is going to cure the problem, where whatever you want is like whatever feels like something you're going to do, or like whatever, fuck this, I'm done, was really what I thought. And I was like, man, that's so different than wanting a thing. It's like wanting nothing. We'll pick it back up here. Make a wish, enter now. Some things are more important than mountains. It didn't make sense, but now it does. I said the stories do that. Um, you don't want a doorway to go inside. You want to come out different, removing stones to become whatever you want. Looney Tunes, Saturday morning cartoons, superheroes, like the first time you drew a sunset. Caterpillar Superman, and that's referring to that thing I mentioned, the Looney Tunes. I had a couple different rainbows and different color palettes, but man, when I put the orange and the red, and then I was like, what does that remind me of? What does that remind me of? It's making me crazy, and the door felt so important, and like I really wanted to go in there once that banner was above it. And oh man, I was writing the different text, and somehow I got it in here with the yellow and the black, and the yellow text over the orange and red reminded me of Looney Tunes so hard, like Bugs Bunny in the morning, and the vibe of like waiting for the weekend, even in like little kids' school, to come, so you could just sit there and eat popcorn and watch cartoons all morning till you either got in trouble to do something else, or your head started to hurt from watching too much TV. But man, what a time. And I was like, man, that's what I miss in life. Like, where is that? So that was a very exciting, potent part, even though it sounds kind of jokey. It's super real. So anyway, Caterpillar, Superman, horseshoes for hands, ouch. Magnets, a few drops of rain, like frozen pyramids. This might be it. It's that part in the movie. This is just a close up of a rainbow house, the rainbow house in Sunsets and Salvation, a painting about how we spend our time and choose to use our gifts. And that was a moment where, man, what did I even say here? Oh, the magnets, the ouch, the horseshoes. I got that same tattoo here, and I thought when I got it, before I got it, like, man, I worked my ass off. I'm gonna get this to let myself know about how good that is. And it was so weird. As soon as I got it, I was like, I don't know. I think it's about being calm, being chill. And I'm just thinking of him, Superman. He had to do all that work, and like, ouch, did all that work. Maybe you gotta chill, buddy. And yeah. And then anyway, it's like a close up of this other painting. Hopefully, I'll find that and stick it in the video as well. I feel like this particular Crystal Mountain, there's a part, just a section of a huge, I don't know, 6, 7 feet tall painting, bigger than this one tall. And that just struck me as so important because of the previous painting was so important and in this direction with a lot of ideas and dreams. And maybe I'll talk about that one in the next time I do this, since there's some continuity and you can actually see, because that doesn't often, that happens, but not that often, a painting shows up in another painting or a piece of it or an idea. They're usually kind of their own ideas. So yeah, okay, back to it. um, it's that part in the movie. This is just a close up of the rainbow house in Sunsets and Salvation, a painting about how we spend our time and choose to use our gifts. So it's that part in the movie. What are you going to do now? Like, when the movie hits that part and you're like, man, is this guy going to like become a drug addict, or is he going to like take over the world, or is he going to do some totally unknown future? You know how movies stop at that key point. I was like, man, that's your life right now. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do now? Continue or do something really awesome? 3 reflections. Don't return to the anxious mountain. There is more to see. Gravestone halo. Walk away. Crawl if you have to. Any means necessary. And that's saying, that's noting that you don't want to go back to that mountain. You don't want to go back to that idea of work ethic necessarily. I mean, I don't want to give up or anything. I'm not going to stop painting, but I don't want to have all these mechanisms in my head that I need to achieve to make myself feel like I'm doing something that's worthwhile when I know it's worthwhile. This is the worthwhile part. Selling it, all the other stuff is stuff you got to do, but it's not it's not the part that's making me talk like this. And yeah, man, I don't know. In that part of the movie, like I said, I don't know. It's like, am I going to continue just doing this, or I want to be the guy who does something else, who keeps doing this, or does it in such a new way, or such a new desire driving it, that the work becomes something else or something so much more, or it connects to people finally in the way it's meant to, in this way where we're having a discussion about it. I mean, it's so rare to be able to do that, and that's the main reason I'm choosing to do it here, because there's no other opportunity really, even at a gallery show. Imagine talking to me this long about the painting, somebody'd walk away, or something get weird, or I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be weird, it'd be cool, but it doesn't seem to happen. So and then crawl if you have to, any means necessary. Even that's so potent to me, because that was like the beginning of my art career. I was selling stuff on eBay for $10, $25, $50, but a lot for 25, $50. And my banner was like, any means necessary. And that was me trying to figure out how to do art and quit my job. It was like, I don't care how I got to do this. I don't care how much peanut butter I have to eat. And that's it. How simple I have to live to make it happen. And, it's grown into what it is now. But anyway, it's a kind of an idea of going back to that feeling and vibe, not in hardship, but in pureness and in excitement and in like gratefulness for every little thing about it. So, uh, okay, so it's that part in the movie. What are you going to do now? Continue or do something really awesome? 3 reflections. Don't return to the anxious mountains. There is more to see. Gravestone halo. Walk away. Crawl if you have to. Any means necessary. The first time is usually the hardest. It's hard being good. Whatever you want, you will get it better. You will get better if you try. Pinball machine doorway. Watching from the stairway to heaven. And that last statement was pretty cool, because I was taking a good, nice long view from it, really just trying to say, is there anything left to say about this? And man, the mountain looked like a pinball machine. And I thought, that's what you built this mountain for. That's what you worked so hard for, so that one day you could just use it in a way that it felt like playing pinball. And it didn't matter about winning and losing. It just meant about hitting that right thing in the pinball machine and seeing those lights go off. And this guy in the background is the reference at the end. What did I say? Watching from a stairway to heaven. Like, he's up there and he's just like, dude, one day you're going to be up here. You might as well have as much fun as you can down there. And like all this stuff, it's not mentioned in the story quite as much, but to me, this little area feels like such a nice nature scene, and so like old timey when you go to a hiking spot when you were a kid, and the way the signage looked, and I don't know, there's the river and the mountains and the water, and like this is like, sure it's a bunch of doorways, but in this idea, it's more like the signage, the simplicity, a carved piece of wood with the words carved simply into it, and the mountains in the background, and there's usually steps that lead you halfway up the trail before it becomes a trail. And man, I don't know, it so just resonates with me. I did it a little ways back. Yeah, it's actually from 2024, probably about a year ago. But I've been following the orders of this guy and the guy who made it. He talking to me, telling me that like, dude, you better be doing whatever you want. And I've been spending a lot of time doing a lot more music and getting ready to get that stuff into a situation where I can play it live and then just enjoying my painting, man, so much. It's crazy. Like I'm feeling for real somehow capturing that first year or two of painting when you just look at the brush, you couldn't even work it right. I still don't like working it right, but I feel like I could see every hair putting the paint on or each weird color mixing and man, just getting into that kind of beauty and not worrying about the end, which I don't worry about, but like extra everything enjoyment with it. So that's what this painting's about.